Good morning, everyone. This is Les with your fall preview. Today is September 6, 2011, and since I've been on vacation for a couple of days here and I'm going to be on vacation next week, I thought it'd be a good time to do another video forecast since it's been a long time since I've done one, and I know some of you have been requesting this. So sit back and enjoy the next 15 minutes or so, and we're going to be talking about quite a few things going on in the world of weather, both current and in the future. So we're going to discuss in this video quick flip to fall. If you remember, we had 99 back on Friday and 100 to set a new record on Saturday. And that's the first time that we've seen 100 degrees at the airport officially since August of 2007, when we had the big drought that year, and we also experienced the hottest August on record at Cincinnati during 2007, and that was the last time that we got to 100. But now we've had 60-degree temperatures yesterday. We're going to see it again today. We'll see it again tomorrow, maybe even on Thursday as well, before we warm back up to the 70s by the weekend, and maybe 80 next week. Now we are currently standing at 82 for our typical high, so we're well below average. So we pretty much went from summer to October in the matter of about 48 hours. So we're going to talk about why that's going on here in a little bit. La Nina continues to strengthen over the equatorial Pacifics. We're going to look at some maps and we're going to discuss that in regards to its impacts on fall and especially by winter. A drought update. Everybody I'm sure is aware of that Texas has had terrible drought-like conditions there for the last year and a half or so, maybe even 2 years, and it's certainly at historical proportions right now. There's a lot of nasty wildfires going on, a lot of homes destroyed, a lot of folks have had to evacuate. It's just been an awful mess in that state. So we'll look at some drought maps here. And finally, the climate forecast system, the CFS model. What is it saying in regards to our fall temperatures? It's a long-range climate model, and we're going to look at what it's saying for La Nina, and also toward the end of the video, what it's saying for temperatures come this fall. And I've actually got through winter posted on here too. So I'll tell you why I disagree with what it's saying for winter as we go along. Alright, here's the water vapor imagery. Now you can see, first of all, a Hurricane Katia out here in the Atlantic. It was a Category 4 storm briefly overnight. It's back down to a Category 3 as of 5 a.m. with winds of 125 miles an hour. Nice, well-defined eye on the water vapor loop here. Now you can see it's moving in a northwesterly direction towards the east coast. At the same time, here's the upper level energy moving into Tennessee right now. And this is associated with what was left of Tropical Storm Lee, which came ashore over the weekend down here in Louisiana in the New Orleans area. And and there's also a cold front to the south and east of Cincinnati along the Appalachians. So when you have Lee combined with the cold front, you're going to have a lot of moisture here. Now, this upper level system that I've circled over the Tennessee Valley moving north towards the Ohio Valley today, it's not going to go anywhere because of this hurricane blocking it. Now, the hurricane is supposed to kind of do one of these, and the center should stay off the east coast, and there could be some strong winds, certainly 40-50 miles an hour along the coast in the next few days, and there'll be a lot of dangerous rip currents and a lot of dangerous wave action along the east coast. So watch for that, East Coast residents. But I think the more heavy rain and stronger winds should remain offshore. We'll certainly keep you posted on that. And then what it's doing is blocking this front and the remnants of Lee from moving eastward. So it's going to stay put. The upper level system is going to stay put over the Ohio Valley through the weekend. And we're going to see that on the GFS model now. This is the 500 heights map. You can see the cutoff low over the Ohio Valley here on Friday. Here goes Hurricane Katia out to sea as it's getting caught up in the trough. And then we're going to go to Tuesday of next week. You can see the cutoff low there. The upper level system from Lee is out of here. Here's another tropical system that we'll have to keep an eye on if this model's correct. There is a tropical wave southwest of the Cape Verde Islands out in the far eastern Atlantic that may become a tropical depression or a storm in the next couple of days, and that's what that system is. But it's going to get caught up in this trough as well, and it should also get kicked out to sea. It's probably going to do another one of these recurve deals, because here comes the trough. And you can see the northwest flow that the GFS says. So still below average temperatures continuing into next week. And the European model also shows a northwest flow pattern as well, and it's slower with lifting the cutoff out of here, because on Monday, or Tuesday rather, of next week, it still shows a little energy in the eastern portions of the Ohio Valley. So the European's actually slower than the GFS on getting that out of here, but the idea is the same. All right, here's the PNA, Pacific North American Index, and when it's in a positive phase, that generally shows a ridging over the west and troughing over the east, and that's what's going on right now. That's another reason why we did the quick flip from summer to fall, and you can see that quite nicely here. The North Atlantic oscillation, we don't have any blocking around Greenland right now, but thanks to the tropics, that's pretty much creating a blocking pattern in the atmosphere anyway, so it's overriding the effects of the positive NAO phase that we have going right now. So it's pretty much, for the next week to 10 days, this is not really meaning anything, because the tropics are doing the blocking in the atmosphere, instead of the typical block we'd see around Greenland that would cause a stagnant pattern like this. That's not happening. The tropics are doing the dirty work on that. Okay, here's the MJO phase. As you can see, this is the Madden-Julian oscillation in the Pacific. Tropical forcing is now dead. Here's early September. It's back into the circle of death. We did get out to phases 2 and 3, though, for the last week of August, and I think that had a lot to do with how we got so hot, because phases 2 and 3 favor a troughing in the west and ridging in the east, and that's exactly what we saw. Now that we're back in the circle of death, we're not going to get any help from the tropical forcing in the Pacific, and that's another reason why we're probably going to stay cooler than average for a while. Here's La Nina. It is strengthening. You can see the nice La Nina signature that we have on this map up here, and you can see that quite nicely. Here's the anomaly map down here at the bottom. You can see that we started off neutral, and now this was from June, and now present day, you can see that the weak La Nina is kicking in. Here's a better map of that. This is from September 5th. Nice cold PDO signature here, with the cold coming down here from the north. The lot of water is below average up by the Gulf of Alaska and off the west coast of the United States. That's cut off from this map. And what's also cut off from this map is the warmer waters around Greenland, which may help with the negative NAO to wintertime. But basically, you can see the incho neutral conditions going away. We're pretty much in a weak La Nina right now, and I expect that to only strengthen as we go along in time. Now here's what some of the IRI INSO plume, the global models, are saying. You can see that yellow line there that I've circled. They're thinking a lot of models are going with a weak La Nina. I disagree here. I think it's behind already, because we're already there to weak La Nina. So I think this model is not cold enough. The European model, it's saying a high-end weak, low-end moderate here. If you kind of take blend, I know a red's not going to help very much, but if you go with the center, that's pretty much high-end moderate, or high-end weak rather, low-end moderate is what it's saying. And the CFS model is going bonkers. You can see the dashed black line here on this image. It's going, it's tanking it. Strong La Nina, maybe even stronger than last year. Now I disagree here. I think it's cold, too cold with La Nina, because you have never seen since 1950, if you go back and look at the records since 1950, we have never seen a second year La Nina during the wintertime be stronger than its predecessor. Not saying it can't happen, but I think the odds are very, very slim if you take the odds here. So I think if you blend this with the European model that we saw back on the last slide, I think a moderate La Nina should do it for this winter. Personally. Now here's the drought monitor. Enough said here. Look at Texas, Oklahoma, southern Kansas, just absolutely terrible conditions here. This is why they're having the wildfires. Slight drought going on in the Ohio Valley as well, as you can see. And the southeast is in bad shape in regards to Georgia, but the Carolinas are looking a lot better, and is Florida, thanks to Irene and the tropics. And I think we'll see next couple of weeks, we'll see a lot of this go away too in the southeast. Here's the soil moisture anomalies. You can see in the Ohio Valley, we are marked as kind of a moderate to severe drought in regards to soil moisture. The southeast needs help, but we know they're getting it from the tropics. Texas, we know, is in really bad shape as usual. The northeast, they're pretty much saturated due to the tropics there. And this is what we need precip wise to end the drought. We need about 2 to 4 inches in the Ohio Valley. We're getting some help. We had some help on Sunday, and we're getting some more help this week thanks to the remnants of Lee, so that looks great. A lot of this will be erased in the next couple of weeks over the south. Texas, though, wow, definitely need a lot of help, and we don't see much help in the future for those folks at all. Now, and I brought that up because now if you look at the soil moisture index, if you remember that, look at September, what the CFS is showing for temperature. That's where the ridge is going to stay over Texas and the southern plains. I got to agree with that because that's where the highest soil moisture anomalies are. That's pretty much what we see most of the summer as well. And colder than average conditions for September from the Pacific Northwest, southern Canada, northern plains. This is typical La Nina here, folks, and on into the lakes and northeast. October, pretty much the same story. The cold anomalies are a little further south now, and we can see a little bit of ridging into western Canada and in the high Arctic with your negative NAO. Should see a plus PNA here. There's the ridge continuing over the drought areas, and we have a chilly October, which I certainly agree with. Now November, pretty much not much change. We can still see where the ridge is going to stay. Texas, not much help from the drought there, and the northern half of the country is below average as La Nina strengthens. Now, as La Nina continues to strengthen as we get into December, this is where I start to disagree. With most La Ninas, it's normally cold in December anyway. I think it's going too strong with the La Nina because look at January and February here. It's showing mild conditions for a good chunk of the country, and that's what a strong La Nina will do for you. But I think it's too cold with the La Nina, and it's relying too much on the La Nina that it's not taking other things into account, such as the NAO, the weak sun, the negative QBO, the blocking, soil moisture. It's just not taking everything into account. I think it's correct through November, but after that I disagree with it. And I'll have more thoughts on this when I do my winter outlook in October. All right, these are some websites that I think everybody should bookmark. This is Absolute Vorticity. That's a weather forum that I post on, www.absolutevorticity.com. And we also have a Facebook page like that as well. NeoWeather, some great folks from Northeast Ohio that do their own forecasting. They just released their winter outlook. It's a must-read. They have a website also, neoweather.com, and a Facebook page too. Ohio Valley Forecasting Center is a buddy of mine, Josh. He has his own Facebook page, and he also posts with us on Absolute Vorticity on our forum. This guy is a great weather resource for the Ohio Valley. He touches on the tropics. He does long-range calls. Certainly like his Facebook page. And finally, Anthony is another friend of mine, Anthony Torres Weather. He's a forecaster for Texas, and he's been talking a lot about the drought and the terrible wildfires down there. He's a great resource for information if you're a Texan or are just curious about Texas weather. And he also dabbles in the tropics as well and does a nice job forecasting the tropics. So like his Facebook page, and he also posts with us on Absolute Vorticity also. All right, I want to thank everybody for watching my fall preview video forecast this morning. Enjoy the nice cool weather for the next week. And I'll talk to you soon, and hopefully we'll have some winter thoughts on my next video. Bye-bye.